This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the government announces a $7.5 million funding boost to protect southern lakes and double funding for tackling aquatic weeds. Young Dunedin wizards and witches are working together to lure children to a spellbinding ride on the Otago Daily Times Enchanted Express. And youngsters at Halfway Bush in Dunedin have been treated to lunch cooked in an umu. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The government has announced a $7.5 million funding boost which will protect southern lakes and double funding for tackling aquatic weeds. Conservation Minister Eugenie Sage announced the funding in Wanaka today for Land Information New Zealand, which is responsible for biosecurity at 5 lakes in the South Island.
Lake Wanaka in central Otago looking picture perfect today, and it's set to stay that way thanks to a $7.5 million funding boost by the government. Conservation Minister Eugenie Sage says the money will protect southern lakes and double funding for tackling aquatic weeds.
An ounce of prevention now is worth a tonne of cure. There's been a huge amount of work that LINZ and Boffamiskal have been doing, informed by NIWA's research, to actually look at how we expand this control program.
The funding is over 4 years and is targeted at improving the health of lakes, rivers and lands from invasive weeds and pests. The work will be carried out by Land Information New Zealand, now armed with double the funds specifically for controlling lakeweed.
The control of lakeweed, invasive aquatic plants like Egeria, oxygen weed, overwhelm our native aquatic plants and potentially lead to more flooding, so we need to control them to protect and look after these iconic lakes.
The money will allow LINZ to increase surveillance of lakeweed as well as improve the monitoring and evaluation of control activities such as hessian matting and herbicide spraying.
These lakes are iconic. They're loved by thousands of New Zealanders who visit and holiday at them every year, and they're iconic for our tourism industry.
And while the government has had a strong focus on land pests in recent years, she says threats to aquatic native species and people's livelihoods often went unseen. In Wanaka, the South Today.
A driver and passenger got a little wet after crashing into Otago Harbour this afternoon. Police say they were called to the submerged car just after 2:30 p.m. after it crashed into the harbour near the intersection of Aramoana Road and Lewis Street. The driver and passenger managed to escape unharmed and called police to their location about a kilometre north of Deborah Bay. The car was winched out of the harbour by O'Reilly's tow truck about half an hour later. Young Dunedin wizards and witches are working together to lure children to a spellbinding ride on the Otago Daily Times Enchanted Express. The train ride from Dunedin to Hindon and back is one of the main features of the inaugural Enchanted Dunedin Festival being held during the July school holidays.
Not quite the Hogwarts Express or a triple-decker bus, but departing from hidden platform 1 and 7/8 at Dunedin Railway Station, an immersive and spellbinding experience is set to transport travellers through a world of witchcraft and wizardry.
We're very excited to be launching the Otago Daily Times Enchanted Express as part of Enchanted Dunedin. So on Tuesday, the 16th of July at 8:30, we're going to be departing on a very magical journey to Hindon and back for all little witches, wizards and warlocks.
Hamilton says the trip isn't just for children. Adults are encouraged to board the train in costume and enjoy entertainment by improv actors, a magician and more.
We would absolutely love to see everyone in costume, and we may even have some prizes for best dressed, and we would we'd definitely encourage that.
Allied Press Commercial Manager Matthew Holdridge says Enchanted Dunedin is set to replace a long-running event which the company was heavily involved with. He says Dunedin businesses approached Allied Press, so it was time to step up.
Well, it replaces the Dunedin Cadbury Chocolate Carnival that ran for a long time and was a highlight of the event, particularly in the school holidays when families are looking for things to do, not just from within the city, but from the wider region.
There are about 20 events in the festival, and Holdridge says the company is investing a considerable amount of time and financial backing into it.
We were sort of also approached by the tourism industry and the retailers and asked what can we do to replace that event, because there was a bit of a gap in the market, and we felt that last year. We definitely felt that. So it was something that we were really keen to, I guess, get involved with. And I think it was at that point we realised we had to show a bit of leadership as well to seed, hopefully, a new event and a new festival that runs every year. The
festival contains a wide range of tours, culinary delights and wild experiences. The Enchanted train is set to depart Dunedin Railway Station on July 16 at 8:30 in the morning, with details on the brand new Enchanted Dunedin website. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A bomb threat from an overseas number sent Otago's prison into lockdown recently. A well-placed source says police received the threat to Otago Corrections Facility on Tuesday afternoon last week via an overseas number. That's been confirmed by Corrections Deputy National Commissioner Andy Milne. There's been no official confirmation of the exact nature of the threat. Milne says the Melbourne prison wasn't evacuated but went into lockdown. He says staff searched the prison but found no suspicious items. Youngsters at Halfway Bush in Dunedin have been treated to lunch cooked in an umu. Celebrating Matariki, the event was designed to introduce local school and kindergarten children to a method of Polynesia cooking.
Waiting for their lunch to be steamed in a traditional island oven, Halfway Bush school pupils and youngsters from the nearby kindergarten celebrating Matariki by cooking up a feast in a Polynesian umu.
We've fused together the Pacifica with Māori, so we're having a Matariki umu today for the first time, and I believe it's probably one of the first umus that we've had in Dunedin.
An umu is a covered oven above the ground, as opposed to a hangi, which is underground. The day started with a wood fire to heat large stones before a range of Pacifica food wrapped in tin foil was placed on top and covered with wet sacks to steam it.
We lit the fire this morning at 6:40, around about 6:40, 6:45 this morning. It's a 2.5 hour burn and about a 2 hour cook time.
The food being cooked included a selection of meats from around the region.
We've sourced the food from all over Dunedin. We've gone to a farm up in Hindon for the lamb, and we've sourced the chicken and most of the food locally.
And a last word should come from the lucky youngsters who dined on the umu food for their lunch.
It was the yummiest part.
What was the yummiest part?
The chicken. I'm gonna eat this.
In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we have the latest edition of Global Insight with Professor Robert Patman, so see you after the break.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. Otago University International Relations expert Professor Robert Patman says the United Kingdom is in no position to be telling China to respect the rule of law. In the latest edition of Global Insight, Professor Patman tells ODT Features writer Bruce Munro the UK's on shaky ground, commenting on the recent protests in Hong Kong, given its clear breaches of the rule of law during the Brexit referendum.
The democracy-minded people of Hong Kong have been protesting in their hundreds of thousands against an extradition law proposed by mainland China. Now the leaders of the United Kingdom, United States and other countries have waded in on Hong Kong's behalf. Welcome, Robert.
Good evening, Bruce.
Why does this small bit of land mean so much to so many world leaders?
I think for several reasons. Firstly, Hong Kong, although it's a small piece of land, is a significant part of the global economy. And the relationship between Hong Kong and China is a complex one, whereby Hong Kong enjoys semi-autonomous status within China. This is part of the agreement that was signed between the UK and China in 1997, in which Hong Kong returned to Chinese ownership, but it was a system in which Hong Kong can enjoy a semi-autonomous relationship for the next 50 years until 2047. The point to note about this relationship is that essentially China gave its blessing to Hong Kong's capitalist system remaining in place, and Hong Kong is classified as one of the freest economies in the world. And recently all this has come into doubt because of protests about an extradition law which the Chief Executive, Carrie Lam, has been trying to table in the Chief Legislative Council of Hong Kong. This has caused enormous controversy in Hong Kong. Remember, many citizens of Hong Kong have enjoyed freedoms which are not available to Chinese citizens on the mainland, and they see the proposed extradition law as the thin end of the wedge, both for reason, that is to say, that under this proposed legislation, people in Hong Kong could be extradited to mainland China, and many of them fear they could be extradited for political reasons, i.e. pro-democracy campaigners, etc. But there's also a money dimension to this. Many companies have become very nervous in Hong Kong because if China uses this extradition law, it could also target businesses that may run foul of Chinese regulations or may be deemed politically incorrect from the Chinese point of view, the way they operate. So there is concerns there in the business community in Hong Kong. And more generally, I think there are concerns that this extradition law could redefine the relationship between China and Hong Kong and tilt it and extend Chinese control over Hong Kong.
Jeremy Hunt, the British Foreign Minister and potential Prime Minister, has said that his country stands foursquare behind the people of Hong Kong. How far do you think the UK would go to back up that statement?
Well, this couldn't come at a worse time for the UK. Jeremy Hunt's making these sort of noises and expressing solidarity with the protesters. The protests in Hong Kong, by the way, Bruce, have been absolutely huge. up to 2 million people at some points in June. So I think Britain wants, Mr Hunt has pointed out, he's the Foreign Secretary of Britain and he's a contender for the leadership of the ruling Conservative Party. He's pointed out that he wants the agreement of 1997 to be honoured. The British believe that the Chinese gave a solemn undertaking to respect the idea of one country, two systems. By expressing concern, Mr Hunt is certainly trying to reaffirm that the Chinese should not overstep the boundaries as the British shared. But the British are on very weak ground. And the reason is that it's fair to say that China will take control of Hong Kong under international law in 2047. So they're in a position to up the ante during the interim period between now and 2047.
In the end, what will decide how this plays out?
I think ultimately, to some degree, the situation will be determined by the attitude of the Chinese government. And Xi Jinping, it depends how pragmatic he is in this situation. After all, he doesn't need to rush things, objectively. Hong Kong's fully reverting to Chinese control in 2047. And he could overplay his hand here. If he does try and crack down, that could lead to an exodus of businesses. Already there's unrest in the business community in Hong Kong. And of course, China owes its prosperity to being a part of, a full-blooded and enthusiastic member of the world capitalist system. If you look at its three biggest exports markets for China, they're the United States, Japan and the EU, all in the so-called Western camp. So China's got a lot at stake here. And I think the outcome of the crisis will depend, to some degree, on the degree of restraint or lack of restraint the Chinese government demonstrates.
Thank you, Robert, for helping us pick apart what's going on here. And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight.
After the break on The South Today, we catch up with some innovative Queenstown locals crusading to get more people dining out during the tourist destination's quiet times. And we have tomorrow's weather for you, so stay with us.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Thanks for staying with us. Three mates are on a mission to get bums on seats in Queenstown pubs and eating spots during quiet times. Bar Hero is a new booking service in the resort, giving patrons bargain deals on food and drinks.
The latest addition to Queenstown's burgeoning hospitality sector. Bar Hero is a new booking service dreamed up by three mates while playing a round of golf.
From running bars and venues for the amount of time we have, it's, you know, the periods of downtime and periods that you want to boost in revenue, and you know, it's just that experience led to this.
It officially went live on Monday, partnering with about 14 local bars already. Customers jump onto Bar Hero website to make a reservation from a list of booking times, mainly off-peak.
Basically, Bar Hero is a booking platform where venues can list certain time slots throughout the day. On those time slots, the customers can jump on the website, pick a time slot, and they will receive 20% off a full range of drinks and either a full menu or a selection of the food as well.
Bar Hero doesn't charge bars or restaurants to join the service. It makes its money through a $10 customer booking fee, of which 50 cents is donated to sustainability projects in Queenstown. They say it's a win-win for both businesses and clients.
Bar Hero is about giving people the opportunity to experience venues they may not go to, and giving them the full 360-degree experience.
And they plan to expand into Arrowtown and Wanaka soon, and eventually around New Zealand. In Queenstown, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The government announces a $7.5 million funding boost to protect southern lakes and double funding for tackling aquatic weeds. Young Dunedin wizards and witches are working together to lure children to a spellbinding ride on the Otago Daily Times Enchanted Express. And youngsters at Halfway Bush in Dunedin have been treated to lunch cooked in an umu. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Phil Somerville.
Yes.
I spot a photo there.
You do indeed. One of Stephen Jackery's. Just a story about an important step forward in the moves to try to resurrect the Nuggets basketball team in Dunedin. So look for that story.
Fingers crossed.
Another one, a story about a big payout to a Southern District Health Board member from Invercargill as it happens. Story about a big possum operation just north of Dunedin. Wanted to kill 16,000 of them or something. Apparently using cyanide in encapsulated pellets mostly, rather than not 1080 on this occasion. We've got more about the millions of dollars for the weed work in the southern lakes, and Ngai Tahu has been ordered to pay $211,000 to a southern farming company because the Ngai Tahu pulled out of a deal for calves with concerns for Mycoplasma bovis.
Wonderful, so you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT, so there's something for everyone. Thank you, Phil. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Starting with our southern view, a southerly front approaches Dunedin. Looking at the situation, a very cold southerly airflow will ease this weekend, with weather becoming fine in most areas, but with chilly frosts at night, so don't put away your hot water bottles. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect a clear blue sky day and 12 degrees. Across to the northeast, there's a few clouds over on the east side, as Nelson and Blenheim are likely to have grey skies and highs of 13 degrees. In Canterbury, it's due to be slightly damp down here with showers predicted. A high of just 8 degrees predicted for Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton. Looking at the southern towns, fresh southwesterlies with a few showers across this region. The Catlins, Balclutha and Gore can all expect a high of 7 degrees, while it's just a little cooler in Lumsden with a predicted top temperature of 6. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, Wanaka is due for moderate southwesterlies, some cloud and 6 degrees. Queenstown can expect moderate southwesterlies but mostly clear skies and a high of 5. Alexandra and Te Anau are set to be mostly fine with moderately decreasing southwesterlies and 7-degree highs. Looking to the northern towns, cloud increasing and moderate southwesterlies across this region. Timaru and Oamaru are in for highs of 8 degrees. A few degrees cooler inland where Twizel and Amarama can expect moderate southwesterlies, some cloud and just 6 degrees. In Dunedin, mostly cloudy and cold tonight with a few gusty southwest winds and an overnight low of just 5. Similar tomorrow with a high of 7 and a low of 5. And it's pretty much the same for Saturday, but a few sunny periods developing and winds easing later, a high of 8 and a low of 5. Heading to Invercargill, showers easing tonight with strong cold southwesterlies with an overnight low of 4. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a few light showers at times. It's going to be very cold with blustery southwesterlies, a high of 7 and a low of 3. And it's becoming fine and sunny on Saturday with cold southwesterlies dying out with a high of 8 and a low of 1. And that's all for our news this Thursday. For the latest news from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.